Now let us start with a new topic in light, spherical mirrors. In the last video we studied little bit about plane mirrors. We studied that plane mirrors make virtual image and we tried to find out the reason for why they are making virtual image. Now this topic will make that reason bit more clear. But before that we should understand what spherical mirrors are. Now first of all, how is a glass, a transparent glass, converted into a mirror? If we have a plain glass, if this is a plain glass kept like this, how can it be converted in the mirror? Now for a mirror, a reflecting surface is necessary from where we can see the image. The image will be formed on the reflecting surface. So for that, on one side of the glass, or one side of the transparent glass, we polish it evenly with silver paint. Silver paint because make it more reflecting, as reflective as possible. And then on this silver plate, on this silver paint, a coating of a brown compound, a dark brown compound. It is mostly made up of iron. This dark brown compound is painted on the silver paint to protect the silver paint and to make the glass more and more opaque. So now, because of this silver paint, whenever the light is coming in this direction, it gets reflected from this silver paint. Now make sure you understand, the light is not getting reflected because of the glass, it is getting reflected because of the silver plate. Glass is there just so that the image that is formed, it is more clear, and the silver paint is can be evenly coated on it, because glass is the only easily available thing that we have which is transparent. Polythene sheets, other they are transparent, but they get very dirty very fast. They can be scratched. Glass is not that easy to scratch. So for making a mirror, we take a transparent glass, we put a silver paint and then a brown compound to protect that paint, and then the mirror is ready. The same concept is applied while making spherical mirrors. Now as the name suggests, spherical mirrors must be from spherical glass. If plain mirror is formed from plain glass, spherical mirror should be formed from spherical glass. So we have this sphere of glass, transparent glass. This sphere is made up of, and if suppose we cut a small part of this sphere, let us say from here, then this part is a curved glass. Now this curved glass, it has two surfaces, and let us say if we paint this surface, if we are painting this surface, then this will be a reflecting surface. The light will come from here and it will be reflected from this surface. Such kind of mirror is called concave mirror. And if instead of painting this side, suppose we paint the inner side, now this will be the reflecting surface. The light rays will come in this direction. Such mirrors are called convex mirrors. So these both concave and convex mirror can be found by this part only. It just, the only difference is there which side you have painted. Okay. Now this is a spherical glass. Now since it is a part of a sphere and this sphere has a point, center point, there can be a central point of this surface also. The mirror also, there will be a central point, there will be a central point of the whole sphere of which this mirror was a part, and then there will be a central point of the mirror also. Now there are certain parameters that are associated with spherical mirrors. So before we come to the point of how to make images, first let us understand these parameters. There are some important parameters. First of all, there is a line, we assume a line, it is an imaginary line, it is not real, a straight line which passes through the center of the sphere and the center of the reflecting surface. let us denote this center of the reflecting surface with P and center of sphere with C. Now this imaginary line, this is called principal axis. This imaginary straight line which is passing through center of sphere and center of reflecting surface, it is called principal axis. The center of sphere C, it is called center of curvature. It is called center of curvature. The point P, which is the center of the reflecting surface, that is called pole. Now each of these parameters have their own properties. We will discuss it later. Now there is a point. Now this is the center of the sphere and this is the pole on the circumference of the sphere. That means the distance between C and P, it must be the radius of the sphere. So the distance between CP, this distance CP, it is denoted by capital R and it is called radius of curvature. Just like C, center of curvature, the radius of the sphere is radius of curvature. Now half of this radius, that is at a distance r by 2. If this is r, then at a distance r by 2, there is another point which we denote as capital F. Now it is a very important point, this capital F, which is at a distance of half of the radius of curvature from pole. It is a very important point. It is called focus point. What is the use of focus point? All the light rays that are coming, suppose let us say that this is a concave mirror. All the light that are coming from this side will be reflected from the mirror, and all of these rays which are reflected, all of the reflected rays will pass through focus. Later on we will draw some diagrams also, then it will be more clear. For now, the significance of focus point is, I will just write it here, all reflected rays, not the incident rays, all reflected rays pass through focus. Make sure you remember this, very important. Now this distance r by 2 between P and F, so this distance PF, which is equal to r by 2, it is called focal length. Now these are certain parameters which are associated with the mirror. Make sure you remember all of these, because when we come to making images from ray diagrams and reflection and we start making rays, then I will be using these points with their name. So you must know that what I am talking about. So principal axis, it is an imaginary line passing through center of curvature and pole. Center of curvature is the center of that sphere of which this mirror is a part of. Pole is the center of the reflecting surface. F is the focus point, which is at a distance half of the radius of curvature. And the significance of this focus point is that all the reflected rays which are getting reflected from the mirror, all these rays are passing through focus. And the distance r by 2 of focus is called focal length. Now we can talk about some rules of obtaining the image from the mirror. If you wanted to note this, you can go back in the video and note these things, make the diagram and note all these points, they are very important. So now I'll remove this sphere and we'll keep only the spherical mirror. We'll keep the curved surface of spherical mirror. Let us say this is our spherical mirror. We'll take concave mirror, because most of the cases that are discussed in the books are of concave mirror also. This is your pole, and from here this is your principal axis. This is our principal axis. center of curvature, focus point. Now there are certain rules that we need to follow. First rule is that all the rays which are going parallel to principal axis, all rays parallel to principal axis, or more accurately all incident rays parallel to principal axis pass through focus after reflection. That means if this is an incident ray, if we assume that this is an incident ray which is going parallel to the principal axis, after reflection from this point it will pass through focus like this. So this is our first rule. Second rule, all incident rays passing through focus go parallel to principal axis after reflection. That means this second case is actually the reverse of the first case. The first case said the ray parallel to principal axis go through focus after reflection. The second is saying the incident ray passing through reflection, passing through focus point go parallel to the principal axis after reflection, like this. So if the ray is initially parallel to principal axis, then after reflection it will pass through focus. If the ray is passing through focus, then after reflection it will go parallel to the principal axis. So this is our second rule. Third rule is if incident ray passes through center of curvature, the incident ray is passing through center of curvature, then it will be reflected back along same path. That means if this is our mirror and the incident ray is coming like this, passing through center of curvature, it strikes here, then after reflection it will go back in the original path only, but in the opposite direction. So it will be reflected back along same path. So from the same path that the incident ray coming, the reflected ray will also be on the same path, but the direction of incident and reflected ray, obviously that will be opposite. Now the last rule, I'll write it here. The last rule states that incident ray falling on pole, incident ray coming on pole will make angle of reflection equal to angle of incidence. That means if the incident ray is coming like this, it is falling on pole, and this is the reflected ray, then this angle will be equal to this angle. The angle of incidence will be equal to angle of reflection. So these four rules you should always keep in mind. In the earlier rules you can see that when the ray was coming like this and it was reflected like this, then also now you would say that if other rays are not making same angle, equal angle, then that means they are not following laws of reflection. Now I would like to clarify this doubt. right here so that there is no confusion in this topic. It is a very important topic. There are many questions in the boards on this topic. Now, if the light ray is coming parallel to principal axis, first rule, the incident ray is parallel to principal axis, it will pass through focus after reflection. Now you might say after studying fourth point that here in this condition angle I is not equal to angle R, but that is not true. The laws of reflection are followed everywhere. Here always remember, to make angle of incidence or angle of reflection we need normal. So here there will be normal, and since the surface is curved here, so normal will be perpendicular at this point. So it will be something like this. Now here also angle I will be equal to angle R. Even if the light ray is passing through focus and then reflecting like this, here also there will be normal and angle I will be equal to angle R. Laws of reflection is always followed. So this fourth rule that I have written, it is not violating the law of reflection. It is only telling you what happens when the incident ray fall on the pole. Then you will get two angles right here which will be equal to each other, but laws of reflection are followed on all these points.